I'm back with my new, I feel like I've known him for a long time already, new friend in Pittsburgh, Fred Brown. One of my favorite questions, influencers. We've all had them, different sizes, shapes, and everything. Sometimes for a second, someone says something, sometimes for a lifetime. Can you share with us, two or three people that have influenced your life?
I would tell you the first person to influence my life was a drug dealer. When I was walking down the streets in my neighborhood, um, and I looked up to this guy because he was the first guy I ever saw who wasn't afraid of the police, who stood up to the police. And I remember, you know, just marveling at him. I don't think I ever wanted to be him. I just never saw a man stand up to the police the way he did and talk back to him. And so I remember him looking at me one day, and I was walking down the street, and he knew me, he knew of me. And he said to me, you think he knew I admired him. So he said, you think I'm something hot? I was like, man, yeah. I told him, man, you talk back to the police, you ain't scared of them. You know, he's like, I hear you pretty smart. I was like, I'm all right. He was like, I need you to go finish school. Don't be like me. My life is terrible. So he started telling me all the stuff he has to deal with, the stuff that, we don't see, how you don't sleep at night, how people's always trying to rob him, and he's dealing with the police and women. This stuff that I never saw. I just seen him having a nice car, driving down the street, not taking stuff from anybody. And so for him to pull me out of a crowd of kids and to say he knew of me, I had a reputation that he respected, he was an influencer for me to stay in school and stay focused.
That's amazing. That's great.
And it was from a position of love and respect for, and I say hood love, because that could only happen in that context. Like, you could only really appreciate it like in that context. Nobody else could have heard him say that and understood what it meant to me.
Right.
Because they didn't see him the way I saw him through my eyes. I think the other person who was an influencer on me was a guy by the name of Mr. K. Kwasowitz. He was my art teacher, my ceramic art teacher. And he really took a liking to me. And basically, he's the reason I got into the governor's school. He allowed me to do art the way I thought I should do art, to do sculptures, ceramics, my drawings. He just encouraged me to be my authentic self. And it really, changed my life and what I was capable of. My mother and my father were influencers in that, my mother was a fighter. My dad was a hard worker, but, my father didn't finish high school. My mother never went to college. And so I tell my mother all the time that you guys created me. And so my mother's often amazed at my accolades and accomplishments. And she'll say to me every now and then, I can't believe we created you. I don't know how we made you given who we were. And my mother and my father's grit, their determined spirit, their unconquerable soul really, it leveled me as a human being and gave me a sense of responsibility. And I would say there's been a myriad of both leaders I fell in love with as reading them, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, then Mark Veazey, Sojourner Truth. A lot of authors that I've read that really pushed me, Dr. Joy Leary, a bunch of different folks. But the people who, like, as I got older, to kind of put my ego in check, it's three doctors. One is Dr. Anthony Mitchell, who's like a big brother, who guides me, talks to me. When I started my consulting company, he was right there with me, helped me get it off the ground, always encouraging me, get me to be conscious about my history. And then I met Dr. Braxton when I was a director at Presley Ridge, and he really refined my understanding of systems, leadership styles in quantum leaps. And he was a consultant for our company, and we just struck up a relationship, and we're still friends to this day. Actually, I just did a Zoom call with him and my other good friend on Friday. And the third person is Dr. Logan, who's an epigeneticist. And so those three doctors are people who push me personally, professionally, intrapersonally, interpersonally, theoretically, in my theories of change, and they critique me. They keep me humble and balanced, and they don't let my ego get out of whack. And then they, huh?
That's always good.
Yeah, it's always good. You know, you don't believe the hype. So, you know, the one thing they'll tell me is I need to take in the success I have and not keep grinding and working. But I would say those influencers really, they really showed me the way to be professional. They showed me how to be accountable. They showed me how to innovate. And along the way, you know, I would say another great person.
We only have 2 hours, by the way. No, let me just say one thing just to complete here. The one thing I find from the drug dealer to your parents and whatnot that I've always believed in is people are not defined by who you think they are or what they've, or necessarily even what they've done all the time or what they've not done, but there's some pearls of wisdom that and or sperms of wisdom, if you will, that that can be amazing, and you never know where it's going to come from. And from that matter, you never know what influence we can have over what we say to people as well in a second or for a lifetime. So I think your mom, your dad, the drug dealer, etc. Those are all great examples, never to be taken lightly, but always to be grateful for.
For sure.
So thank you for sharing those.
Thank you.